behind me here now is the road that leads up to the Shions and to the far side. The boundary goes away up that way. This road was made here, I'd say, in the 1960s or therearound. There was an old road here before then, but it has been improved since then. And I see it's a private road where they have a gate put up here, the Department of Forestry in the 60s. This is the road that goes up to the forestry. And there were two hills here at one time, the Shions they were called. I don't know where they are, they're covered with trees today. I think one of them may have been up there, and the other one may have been over here someplace. We cannot find them anymore. They're covered with trees since the 1960s. It's mostly mountainous country here.
Mostly, yeah.
It's townland of Beltra. Okay.
Okay, standing stone, the west of the townland. Standing stone in the west of the townland. A lot of people held that in fear. In the last generation, they were afraid of it. It was always considered a haunted place.
Yeah. You think it's a burial ground?
It's an old burial ground. An old Neolithic tomb.
Switching back to stairs here.
It's inside too.
Yeah.
As those things go. You remember the one we talked about which we saw on this road?
Yeah.
It's about twice the size of that, 3 times the size of that one.
Now, with this one here, this would be the entrance to the burial ground.
But it's hard to tell where the entrance to the burial ground is because
well, that lad.
Like that when the fog go over that.
Yeah, well, that's a large stone there, usually in the entrance, wasn't it? Yeah.
But those things were covered with large stones. There's probably quite a few more of those.
Yeah, well, it wouldn't be that size now.
No, the other thing is, another consideration is where the heck did that stone come from?
Ah.
Another stone that we get around here.
Could be from the shore, couldn't it?
It would have taken from the shore.
They probably did.
Dropping a rock big enough to produce anything like this, and he needed to dig his eyeball over there.
How are you in here, you think?
I think the entrance to those places was towards the centre of it.
Yeah. So where they came in would be in here, south-north or north-south, would it be?
Right to north-south, yeah.
And that has...
Those court cables were used generally in the middle, and they used a kind of a centre room in use.
Yeah, there was.
As an entrance, and then they used the other thing for burial inside.
Yeah. In the entrance here where it collapsed.
It must have been.
Yeah.
It looked that way anyway.
Yeah. Skay, you don't know what skay means?
Most of those stones are in a collapsed condition.
Yeah.
See what has happened, the ends of them have fallen down.
How do you think about skay baha, you call it?
The old people used to call it skay baha.
You don't know what it meant?
I don't know, the skay of the huts, I suppose.
Yeah. Skay. I couldn't find it in Joyce's book either.
But there's enclosures.
Oh, round about here.
Round about it too.
Yeah. It goes to the right here.
Yeah.
And into this mound here.
Into this mound, yeah. There's a small enclosure.
Yeah. And then there's another long one going.
Another one going away far down.
Yeah, down there.
Now over on the hill again you can see another line of boulders coming along, marking another enclosure.
Another kind of enclosure.
A larger one outside again.
And larger one back here, would you say?
Yeah. You can see the ridge right up the hill there.
Yeah. What do you think the enclosures would be for?
They were probably enclosures for keeping their cattle from wandering or something. I think that there were divisions of land no different to what we have today.
Yeah, that's skay up there.
Yeah.
And this is another one down here.
This is Beltra Mountain again.
Beltra all the time. And here we have dolmen.
A dolmen? What is it, a dolmen?
Ah, right.
Again it arrived up from under the bog. The bog had been cut away around it. And again you can see the enclosures of stone. The stone walls.
Yeah.
And some of them even occupy the same positions today. You can see the continuation of that wall going away back there, and it's a modern wall.
Yeah, back here.
Yeah.
So that one there wasn't a mound?
That one came up from under the bog.
It wasn't a mound then?
Down here?
Yeah.
It's not a mound, it's the reverse of it, it's a kind of a basin. We'll go down anyhow. And
there was an enclosure, a wall that must have been going down here.
Enclosure.
Down there.
Yeah. And the road used, and you can see continuation of it.
Do you think these stones here are a continuation of it?
I think they are, yeah. Whatever direction it took after that, land wasn't made, they were lazy beds though.
Famine times, ridges. That's scary.
Back from the famine, yeah.
I suppose they built this road that time too.
I wouldn't think so. That road wasn't so long built, but there was always a track in it.
Yeah. All there would be with people living around.
Yeah.
So some of the 40 families would have resided up here.
More than likely.
Yeah.
Building.
Down at the Green Hill, southeast end of...
Coming from the corner of the pier in that was the old lack of water there.
I know, I see that alright.
Into Belfast.
Belfast, trace of an old house. It could have been a customs house, and a watch house, and a boat house. Or maybe all three of them are around here.
And that's the likely location for them.
Well, it would be someplace in sight of the shore anyway, wouldn't it?
Well, the watch house would probably be sited on a
On a hill?
On a hill or on some prominence anyway.
Ah. Well, they wouldn't be too far from over here, would they?
Yeah. Oh, they'd be. No doubt they'd have to be very close together.
Maybe the other one could have been over here,
Complementing the other.
on the far end.
Yeah.
I know that under here. Nobody remembers around which was
Nobody
which.
remembers around. The only tradition around about here that there was a bad so-and-so living around about here or whatever it was.
Yeah.
Cow.
Try cow. What did you say about it a minute ago?
Famous Try cow.
Scrub what?
I scrub Try cow like bunches float on the carriage.
Yeah,
Still carriage.
I know. That's, some people call it St. Patrick's Rock, more call it Gull's Rock.
Ah, yeah, that's mere Hook Cornick below, picking up over the water.
Yeah.
But then you had Cornick as well, you see there.
Down there.
Yeah. Out there you had the Terracina, right? You see where the white wave is coming in now. As
Out
you were
there.
living in there, you can find traces of Variety and
Oh.
some of her coal is still to be got there.
Oh. McLaughlin's, Golden's, Walker. Oh, the name was in the bin too. Robinson.
No, it wasn't in the bin.
There was a James Walker down, occupying land from, leasing land from Knox.
James Walker. Well, that's not so far back.
1838.
Because I can give you on that family, I can give you a fair good shot
Right.
on it.
We get 140 years ago, or maybe more. There were Robinsons, Lynets, and a Lamin or a Layman, a Laymian. Didn't ever hear about any name of that? And there was Mahan, Flannelly, and a Lotan, L-O-T-A-N. Robert Lowton. Lowton.
Yes,
So he was
there
called,
was.
he was called another name, wasn't it?
I know, but there wasn't a whole one. But sure, that's not a talker, is it?
Sure is.
Oh, well, good. Very good, tell you,
There was a Lowton, and there was a Healy.
Yes, there was Haley's now, but that Haley now, what I'm coming at, Haley was everything.
Or was it?
Yes, that's what that kind of was.
Well, he was there long.
Haley was my great-grandfather.
Yeah. Well, there was a Healy, but there was a James Walker that had a holding and paying money for it to Knox, as well as this Healy. Different holdings. You know what I mean now? Different holdings. They weren't on the same holding.
I didn't know any Walker but this
There
one.
was a James. Now, 7 families were parsons, and it had 372 acres.
There was no
altogether.
other bucks there. There was a buck here. It was a buck that owned this farm.
Yeah, there was no water box.
Huh?
No, but it was very high rent. The tenants had to pay £2 per acre every year annually. £2 per acre in those days. Now it was supposed to have derived its name from the town Bailan Cashran, that's the town of the castle. I don't know where it is now. Some of you might have ideas on that. And it could also come from a name called Castletown, as John figured out. Dua is the Irish name for a burial ground.
Yeah,
A burial
that's
ground.
what Sean is claiming now.
So that's what Sean is claiming,
That's
the
what
burial
Sean is
ground.
saying. is talking about now.
Okay, man. Here's the burial ground then.
Yeah, there was a burial ground. There was supposed to be a grave there.
Yeah. Oh, where? This is where you heard the little man.
Yes, you could hear him happen, you could hear him hammer and everything.
And every time you listened, he stopped hammering, did he?
You stopped to listen, he'd stop hammering.
Yeah. This was levelled out by a local farmer years later. Yeah. Was there supposed to be many buried here, or just one?
Just one.
Yeah.
On the trailers, on the height of you see the wall on the height of the hill, the cross wall now.
Yeah.
Around there.
People buried there. Yeah.
The house was supposed to be knocked in on top of it.
But is there any mound or anything left?
There was, but I think it was levelled out.
Yeah.
Do
you know where there was a house built in on top of a family? You know that moat that's down on the top of Maheda's land there below, had a loch in it?
Oh yes, yes, that one.
Oh, the fair wall above,
yes,
at the
wall
machinery.
on top of the hill, this side of that.
I see. What kind of people were buried there now, would you think, Tom?
But I think it was supposed to be children.
Children. What are they called? The Castletown?
Lisheen.
Well, I don't know, it wasn't called anything. As far as I know. I didn't hear any name.
So where's the area around here called the Castletown, or whatever they call it?
It's way behind them bushes now there. That's where the burial place is.
Where the trees are?
Yes, where the trees are. It's behind there, it's behind there.
Castletown. In Castletown. Yeah. Yeah. An ancient burial ground. Right, we'll have a look at the mound. And this is where the mound is here.
That's right. Well, this is where you're standing, I think. You're where we're standing now.
All around us here.
It's higher than the ground around anyway.
So this could be the entrance or the end of the entrance, because it's built up there underneath, isn't it?
Well, it doesn't appear to have been, there doesn't appear to have been any entrance from that end.
No.
Because it's built up underneath that slab.
So the entrance would be...
Those other ones must have been roofed over at some stage. Somehow or other, somebody or something must have removed the roofing.
Oh yeah.
Whether they were broken up or what.
And it could have been used for stones for making the walls there.
What they were used for that we don't know, but wherever they went, the roof of that is gone.
Yeah. We'll look at it from the other end. And this is the mound probably all around here. There are stones there. Yeah, and I can find some of them down here too. So this would be the mound called Castletown. Burial ground. Yeah. Burial, I'd say, would it?
But that's all we know about it. Nobody knows anything else at this stage. Nobody knows anything else.
No, it's not even marked on the map.
I don't know. Let's check that.
Yeah.
What type of ground? Probably an ice age deposit, because it's too rounded to have been shaped even in ancient times by the hands of man.
Or weathering.
Weathering still wouldn't account for the rounded stuff over that. Certain amount of weathering, yes, but not nothing like to account for that for the rounding.
Wouldn't be part of that burial. Yeah, it wouldn't be part of that old burial ground there either.
Very doubtful.
Very doubtful.
Very doubtful. There's another one in far back here.
I can see it, yeah. Oh yeah. Another mound of stones.
Yes. Some sort of shape, or a dolmen, I presume. Or some sort of a...
Called the Lachta too.
It's also called a Lachta.
Yeah.
The big high hill that you see with the forestry on it behind far, that's the real Lachta.
Yes, I know.
The big mound of stones on top of that.
I know, I've been often there and I intend to go to it again sometime. That's in Knockbacher now, isn't it?
That's in Knockbacher now.
This one here is in Castletown.
This is still in Castletown, yeah.
Right. So this area here must have been inhabited by...
Yes, because the paths that we used to use through the mountains long ago were all on top of stone walls.
Yeah, and the sea is out there from the too.
Right. Stone wall. These were stone walls. They're now underneath the bog.
Yeah.
But they do seem to have been collections of stones that were roughly built stones.
Right then. Tom Doherty's boating.
Right.
And this is
That's Tom Doherty's old house. That's where he lived. He was supposed to be a harness maker.
yeah.
That's all I know about the man.
And that boating goes away,
Right over to what they used to call the new bog, new park.
goes away over there.
Up at the top to the bog, that's a lot of the clearer people and that like the people are talking at one time. It's all cut away now mostly. It's up at the top of that main field up that road that goes up at Patrick Lane.
Does it go? Oh yeah.
At least that you come out down at Patrick Lane again there if you went round it, you could come out there,
yeah,
you probably
yeah,
stick
yeah,
it,
yeah.
it's all going over and over.
Was there another village over there too?
Just directly in line between you and the gazebo now on top of that hill there.
Yeah.
There was a village of houses there. They used to call it Stoball because it seems the people were all the same fighting amongst themselves in it. They must have been living very close together.
Working with the knife.
It was known as Stoball. It was apparently wiped out by cholera and famine.
Oh yeah. In the 1840s.
45.
This little green one here.
This green field here, and over the top of that wall you see back there too, onto the top of that height,
Yeah.
at the back where the rush is there. There was a village of houses there also, according to legend, which was wiped out by cholera and famine.
Yeah. In the 1840s, I suppose.
Yeah. And just at the iron gate there, there's supposed to be a burial. No, not that gate. This rusty gate up here in Penland. Just over this field here now. We go and look at it closer here beyond.
Oh, I see it in the corner.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where the bushes, where the briars are.
Yeah.
We go up and look at it closer now.
Kelly household.
Right there.
Oh, alright. This is the iron gate up here.
Now, a family, there's supposed to be a family buried there. They died, apparently, all died of cholera.
In there.
And I don't know whether the parish priest now or somebody he sent to do it, but they put the couples in at the roof and on top of them.
Oh yeah, famine
They
time.
knocked the walls in on top of that.
They would be in danger of contracting the disease themselves.
Oh, well, I mean, if you dug that still, it'd be
Yeah.
deadly dangerous.
Yeah, could be.
There's cholera.
And it all came from dirt, didn't it?
The Bacillus cholerae, I think, he's a chaplain himself.
Yeah. Well, usually it's associated with dirt and bad,
Neglect and...
yeah, bad water facilities and a lot of things. Tom Doherty was voting.
This one over there, I saw cut white with cats and parts of that.
You did?
I don't trust any about.
Well, back in over
Hardly
here.
a soul ever goes in now except certain gentlemen on a motorbike when they're in the meeting with the north.
Strips a little bit out. This here was the parochial house of the parish priest of Lacken until 1927. This house here in the south east of Castletown. Quinn moved it out up in 1927. Over here is the yeoman barracks, or post office. So now around here was the yeoman barracks, or post office. Here is the site. Customs board. Watch and boathouse here. Well, they hadn't it here, they had the site here. One which they intended to build here. And this is Castletown. Over here is Baltra. The wall there is the boundary. There's the site. And then the house building. On television. the 12th of July and the 10th of November.
Yes.
That was the fair of Lacken.
Fair Lacken.
And it was also the fair of Castletown.
Yeah.
Well, there must have been 4 fairs altogether because I came across 2 more dates, like the 15th of June and the 29th of September. There wouldn't be 4 fairs down there in the year, would
Well,
there?
I never had them myself. They could be before that.
Yeah.
Before my, well, it wasn't in my time,
Yeah.
the Fair Lacken.
It wasn't?
No, it was before my time.
Ah, yeah.
And that's 73 years ago.
Long time ago.
It's a long time ago,
Long time ago.
but it was there before my time.
Yeah.
And I think the only way they quit it was there was so much breakfast built in it.
Well, what was driving them mad? Was it the whiskey or was it
Whiskey.
the hard stuff?
No, it wasn't the hard stuff. They used this Mahan and Fox across Malina.
Yeah.
They used to come into them with their bars.
Oh, yeah.
And with their tin.
Oh, I
And
see.
they used to have very bad stuff. And what I wouldn't sell for or anything they have left over for the day, they'd spit it and go home.
Oh, I see.
You understand?
Yeah, driving the men mad.
And it drove them in mad.
That was done a lot, it wasn't it?
Well,
Yeah.
it's fair but John Martin
Collecting the tolls.
collected the toll.
That's
What sort of folklore are you after?
And the-
Come now with some of it.
right. Where do you think they're bringing it in from? Spain, was it? The Spanish trawlers?
No, but the merchant ship.
Oh, yeah, they used to come in there.
They come in there, they set them outside the city.
Oh, yeah. Well, tell me, how used last night collect the tolls? Go around from one to one, was it?
Yes, I don't know whether the way it's done, but he used to honor the statue the last times. He wasn't at it, so we used to stand on the statue and you'd have to come up to
Oh, I see.
put the money.
I see.
You understand? Whatever it was.
Yeah.
You see,
Something small anyway.
it was only a penny.
Yeah. Something big done in those days.
It was. It
Yeah.
was.
Yeah.
It was.
Ah, yeah. Tell me, do you remember any bucks living around here somewhere?
Well, there's one part of it standing.
Yeah.
He was a shoemaker.
He
And
was.
all the people before him were shoemakers.
Oh, yeah.
You understand?
And I knew some of their descendants.
Yeah,
So that's where he lived.
that's what he did.
Down the Dover, the foot of the Dover, founded by the sea out here. Creva over here. And far over here, far end, at Lachen. 661 acres, 280 uncultivated land, 46 families in 1856. Families like Haley, Tighe, Clifford, Lavelle, McDowell, Maguire, Flannelly, Mahan, Golden, Duffy, Swift, Flynn, Newcomb, and was owned by Harriet Garner. And the tenants paid about 31 shillings an acre here for the land they had rented. There's a river that runs through down through the Dover. Nafbaha, meaning the hill of the hut, or the hill of the boot. It is surrounded by the town line of Belfast, Castletown. Down here is Lacken Hill, and right over here is Kilbride, and up here is the hill of the hut. Now covered over by Carn. They have been the hill that gives Nafbaha its name. It had 252 acres, gone to Charleston up at Castletown. Only 40 acres of the stand, probably down here, could be cultivated. And the townland wasn't rented out in acres, but it was rented out in divisions. See the work of the forestry in the last 10 years. This is a view of Lochbaha from the hill of the Lachta. Here on the right is the forestry, grown in the last 10 years, and down there is Lochbaha. I'm standing here on the Lachta of the hut. Only 40 acres of it, under the hill there, all of it. Commanding a magnificent view. This is another view of the Lachta. Could also mean the hill of the flags. It looks like a hut or something was built up here, or some kind of mound, or stone fortress. It's hardly one of the booly houses, where people have the cows and milk and etc. Another view of the hut. Lachta. Starting at one of the 10 feet. On the top of the hut. So that's what you call Clohanolish.
This is Clohanolish. It's a triangulating pyramid. The original marking was on a piece of a stone that was left on the bog, but the bog got cut away from it and it was, I think, disturbed. But the place was revamped by the Ordnance Survey people a few years ago, and this thing was put up, which is just a place to hold a flagstaff for tying in purposes if you're doing another Ordnance Survey. There's a place on top of the truncated pyramid for screwing on a flagstaff.
This is the old cartway up to.
It's an old cartway. Well, I'd say that was used to draw out turf from the bog mostly.
And these holes in the bottom are for letting water out, are they?
Well, they could be for anchor points too, for tying, for putting in bars, for tying stay wires on a flagstaff if you're up there. You can imagine that's where you screw on the actual pole for the flagstaff. So tying in. This is about with the height, I'd say, would be at that point.
And this is the old road down by the
Which of them now? There's one of them, if I can identify it. The one down towards the gate. It comes out of the gate at Johnny Faddle's field.
Yeah.
That was a road where turf was drawn down from the Shion bog when it was in operation. Still some drawn out of it, but not much now because it's mostly gone under water.
Okay. The SP and the PNT. Who knows, and will be welcome this land yet. Johnny Faddle's house in the background. And in here somewhere is the Shion Hills. Or the hill of the Shions. Now covered with trees. Conify. 500 feet. Here's the townland of Conify. all around here. O'Donovan calls it the land of the firewood. Now, far out today, the townland of Baha. Down here is the townland of the Carn Temple. Inside there, Lacan Hill, and this is the boundary. This is going out here between Lacan Hill, inside there, and the Carn Temple down here, and Connaught up here. There's a way down there. And the other boundary fence going down there. Beyond it, this is going. This Connaught here had 204 acres. 40 acres. Now this would be the rough pasture here on the right. Now down here the south, 40 acres cultivated. It was all let in divisions. It belonged to Charles Knox of Castletown. 10 farmers that were there. Now their names are not given in the Griffith valuations of 1856, but this house here is Farrell's, they must have been in it, and down there is Holmes. And further up there is Tuchels. Now what was the other man?
There was a man named Michael Rubble living there too.
Michael Rubble.
I don't know what his right name was, but I heard he was called Michael Rubble.
Yeah. And this is the forestry up along here.
To the left of where you are now.
Yeah. The boundary up there. The left up here is right. Here, this road going down here, I always thought it was Carmichael, but seems Lacan Hill. There we see it on the map. According to Donovan, the hill of Lacan. To the south is Lee Carn Temple, Castletown, Connaught, Baha. This road here is in Lee Carn Temple, and you can see the boundary fence going down there. In here to the left is Lacan Hill. And inside there is Lacan Hill. This is Connaught up here, and there is the boundary fence. To the right of it, Lacan Hill. To the left, Connaught. And where I'm standing now, Lee Carn Temple. Now, here is Lacan Hill, a mountainous country, 125 acres of it. Most of it. Down here we see the cultivated land, 20 acres of it. The rest of it, 105 acres of rough mountain. Belongs to Charles Knox, or did, in 1856. It was held by 3 farmers who paid £5.10 yearly. Down here was Mickey Lavin, in this area, in the bushes there. Way out there somewhere in the mountains was Neil, I think, and I don't know where. I don't think there was anybody living in here. The third Now this is the Knockbaha Road. The third man that lived here was Michael Healy. This is the Knockbaha Road on the left, and here is Hill. And this is the area out here, the boundary line between Hill and Knockbaha. Goes in there. That bush there, and then it winds left. There's the bush there, and it winds down there to the left, and then up, see the stakes, by the stakes, and down again to the left, and then the stakes wind up again to the right until they meet the cross stitch to the left. To the left then is Hill. In the cultivated part of it, not out here, they grow crops of potatoes and oats. Whatever Michael Healy was, that was owned by George Stock. Now on the right, coming down here, this is the map. It's down the Knockbaha Road. No, it's not, it's Castletown. And to the right there is Hill and left Castletown. I don't know, the scenery there didn't come out too good. Now that's the boundary wall. On the right there is Hill, and on the left side would be Carn Temple. Townland of Carn Temple. And there we see the east end where most of the houses were. This is the road. Pathway than a roadway, and that's where homes was situated originally. It was cock trees, and then in the west corner we see the site of the old church of Carn Temple. It meant the half quarter of the church, the temple, and across from it is the village of Connaught. And there was the road down to it. Now this is the east end of the townland. There's the boundary wall, one of them. This is where the houses were. Carn Temple means the half quarter of the church. It has 237 acres of land, 120 acres are bog and uncultivated. It belonged to George Stock. Oats and potatoes were the crops. 8 farmers lived here. Thomas Laden, Lawless, they lived up here. John Ford, they also lived up there. 2 families of Cochtreys, Martin Needham, Thomas Lahney, Owen Needham, Martin Needham, John Needham, Martin Grogan, Michael Haley, Dominic Cochrane, Pat Lavelle, Thomas Hogan and Mary Mullery. Now this is the old mill down in the field. What kind of a mill do you think it was?
Well, as far as I know, it was a grain mill, a quaiding mill that ground grain for the locals. Present time we don't know very much about it.
Across some of the spine in the house. Yeah, and that was the way the town ground was. That's where most of the town ground lay in that direction. Those homes, which was originally cultivated, right? Another site in that old mill where it was. They probably had machinery there for grinding that, had they?
The story that goes is that it was driven by an ass. It may have been water power would have been hard to get to unless it brought from very far up the river.
Yeah.
But it must have been driven by animal power.
No,
That's the road down to the mill. This is the access road from the upper road down to the mill itself. It's mostly choked up by briars and shrubbery now up at McDonough, but it's through there. And the right of way still exists.
Most people call this area here Lackham Hill, but it's not, it's Sleecan Temple. Yeah.
Now we're back over here in Looking for.
But that's the road into, down the way into Holmes is here.
Oh yeah.
Now, just on the top of the hill there was Conaway. This was Sleecan Temple here.
Johnny Farland Connery, he's a direct descendant, I believe, one of them clergymen that was in the glade.
What he be?
He was one of the Cork, and the mother, Johnny's grandmother was Corkin.
Yeah.
And one of the Corkins married a daughter of the clergyman.
Yeah. Well then Martin Needham, you say, lived in it, didn't he?
Massey lived above on the hill there, he did.
In the rectory where our little and the clergyman, the person...
Well, of course it was in the old house without the roof on it, that's where Martin Needham lived, of course.
Yeah. That's the big tall one there, down in
The big tall one is cost for the clergyman.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Martin didn't live there, did he?
No, he lived in the small house above on the hill.
Ah, yeah, yeah.
He did.
Yeah, yeah. So nobody lived in that
No, in my time.
You never saw anybody live
No, the roof was taken off it for as long as I remember.
in there?
Dominic Fooden like in Hill, Martin Collins and Ballina, I suppose you know him.
Yeah, I do.
The grandfather, he worked as a clergyman there when he was a young fella.
Did he? What would his name be now?
Dominic Ford.
Dominic Ford.
Yes.
Yeah.
And he was saying that if you want to go to Killala, walk it, I'll bring your horse with you.
Yeah.
There's no such thing on the bicycle.
That's right. He's over there.
That's Tom Greyer.
Yeah, well that's where you think the old village of beyond
yes,
that.
That's John Greyer lived there, of course, and McLavelle, the Lavelles lived before that.
Yeah.
Of course, the Lavelles was cousins to the Holmeses.
Yeah.
They were.
Yeah. You never heard them talking about the site of an old church or anything there, no?
Well, I have not talked to the Carn Temple,
Yeah.
but I didn't know any more about it.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes.
And McGordon, you think, lived down here, further down the road here?
Yeah, and the McGordon lived here. You can see from the bushes there.
Yeah,
It's like the old houses in it.
Yeah.
Just about 10 years on the maiden fence between themselves and Tom.
Yeah, yeah. He had a big long house, I think.
A long house.
Yeah.
And it was down the hall it was built. I was often wondered they didn't build it on a rise,
Yeah.
and there was places there for the house.
Who was he a teacher?
Oh,
Anthony.
he was a first class teacher.
And where was he teaching?
Huh?
Where was he working?
Here in Carn, they had the school here.
Yeah, yeah.
And when, I suppose when Miss Garner evicted them, or it must be how she evicted them, them all went away. And there was only one family here in 1901 was a friend of my friend. That's all there was in it.
Yeah.
I had no Haley seen he saw that in the secondary school, that is Jimmy Harrison and there beyond.
Yeah.
There was only one family in this village in 1901.
Was that all?
Yeah, that's what he says.
Yeah.
Well, there was 14, Paddy McHale had a book here and there was 14 houses in this village.
Yeah, well I'll be able to tell you the exact amount the next time I come here, cause
Johnny had the fence knocked down. There was an old house there, I saw there were nailing, Patsy Nailing from Lacken there was
yeah, yeah.
And he had land there and Sam McCormick bought it.
Yeah.
And the land commission then gave it to the paddles.
Yeah.
That's how Johnny got it.
Lee Carn Temple on the site of McGovern's house, Anthony McGovern. On the side of his house here. There's a long house. Way back here, in the end of Castletown. So Jim Golden Hill. Drone bag over there. Farther over there is Holmes's, cut trees, and then Holmes's. And down somewhere there is the old village of Culloway, and across this this is the old stream. There's also the roadway down to the village of Conofray. This is Lee Carn Temple now inside here. And there was the old roadway over to the village of Conofray and the ruins of the houses. And on the right, Conway up there. And right out here is the Lee Carn Temple, site of Holmes's. And there it's there, the site of the church of Lee Carn Temple. And this is Castletown, 400 feet over sea level. .306 acres. 100 acres of it not cultivated. This part of it here runs out near Barn Hill. And here we have Mary Kane and her uncle, Jim Golden of Carrickmachan, a man with some history and knowledge of the area. And the meaning of Carrickmachan was McShane's quarter of land.
McShane's, I had someone saying that.
Did you? Yeah.
Now I had someone saying that.
Yeah. 306 acres of land in 1838.
306 acres of land?
Yeah, belonged to Knox of Castletown, and then in 1856 it belonged to Garner, Harriet Garner.
Yes, that'll be about it.
Yeah.
Because and Miss Pringle got it in from Miss Garner.
Did she?
She did. Miss Garner was Miss Pringle was the landlord from the CD board bought it out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pringle was from the north of Ireland, wasn't she?
She could have been indeed now.
She was. Garner brought it there as a kind of You know, sparring partner when they were...
Sparring partner, that'd be the way to put it.
Yeah.
Is it the one that that agreement they made, none of the gardeners could succeed Miss Garner did?
Could they not?
It seems they couldn't when Miss Pringle got it.
That's right. Well, the two of them used to be drunk coming home from Killala, and there was police protecting her, you know.
Oh, the police was protecting Miss Garner, and there was a few attacks made on her.
And I believe the job they had to do was to keep the two women separated on the way home.
That can be, but Miss Pringle was a nice one, Miss Garner was rough, and she was very fond of evicting people.
Yeah. Now, do you remember seeing flax grown here?
No, but no, I don't remember. They've grown up flax in this village in the last war.
Yeah.
But I'm not so sure about the 1914-18 war, but in Mullafar I often saw flax.
Yeah.
I uphold it too.
Yeah, they had 12 families here.
In this village?
Yeah, and Anthony Barrett, do you remember hearing him?
No, he was living there about 50 or 60 years from here.
Down the road. And there was a Thomas Barrett there too.
Was there?
And a Patrick Kelly.
Kelly.
And a Pat Lavelle.
Lavelle there was.
And Anthony McGurn, well he was farther down.
He'd be farther down.
And a James McGurn.
Yes, Anthony McGurn had a brother James McGurn.
Where was James living?
Well, I cannot say where James is living.
Yeah. And there was an Andrew McGurn in it too.
Is that so?
Yeah.
I don't know anything about him.
And a John Kelly. And a Bridget Kelly. And a John Kelly Jr. and a Thomas Burke and a John Lavelle. And the only other thing was the schoolhouse.
They sent to me Haley.
Down there.
There's a few foundations down there, a house, but if you're interested in going down, I'll go down with you.
Yeah. That looks like it down there, doesn't it? And they'd have a well there too, wouldn't they?
The well is here.
Has been there for years.
Oh, it's there at all for a long time.
Yeah. Down there, is it?
No, between it's out for the see Bullock out there too.
Yeah.
Well, that's it, and Johnny Hayes cattle.
And in like that on it, all right, isn't it?
There is, that's it.
Yeah.
It is. And you see the bush of briars, that's in Calmashon.
Yeah. And then it goes away down here then.
It goes over then out the whole.
Do they?
They do. And meeting Barton Hill then.
Yeah. You didn't go to school down here and there.
It's a few years ago now. I was talking to a man, I was talking to a man that went to school at McGarden. He was a year and 9 months going to school though.
Yeah, he was a hard man, I believe, wasn't he?
Oh, well, he didn't say he was a hard man. But he had a great name. But he was a year and 9 months, and when a man was going to school a year and 9 months, he was a man that knew a lot. He wasn't as good as the son Johnny.
Was he not?
No, he was not. But he was a man that knew a lot. He was born in 1847 and he died in 19...
Clun and Ass. Clun means meadow, Ass waterfall. Surrounded by Grotatour on the north and on the east, Calmashon. There we see 300 feet over sea level. 126 acres. Here we see one lodge from one of the gateways out from Heathfield House, and there's the other lodge on the extreme left, also out from Heathfield House. Clunass had a size of 126 acres, 50 acres of uncultivated land in the south. Now this lodge here at League. Moving on towards Ballycastle. Now what this from here on is the townland of Clunass. up here to the left. And this is the lodge where the present Tommy O'Hara lives. One of the gatehouses out from Heathfield House. According to Donovan's Down survey, there were no tenants here in 1838. This is this place's name. On the meadow. Oh, box of Heathfield over there. Heathfield House. Over there, Carn. The river there is the boundary between Clonanass and Carn. Now, in 1856, according to Griffith valuations, it was owned by Reverend William Burke, and he had tenants such as John Lavelle, James Welch, John Doherty. John, here we see the fourth, maybe of some significance. John Doherty, John O'Hara, Patrick O'Hara. In the background, Slate Hill, 800 feet high. Another view of the lodge. One of the gatehouses that led from Heathfield House. This is the old road onto Ballycastle, came in through Billows, in over the hill and Harry. And there we see it, going out the mountains towards Billows. And here we see a fort. Spring Fort, 300 feet high over sea level. They all seem to be on that level. And that part of Slate Hill is in Ahely, next townland. This is where Heathfield House is. Now this here is the other lodge, belonged to Michael Burke, NT, married to Marion Munley. He taught in Ballycastle School, she taught in some school back there. They had a big family. Two notable members of the family were Sean Burke and Finan Burke, who made an impression down in Lacken Parish. Sean Burke became one of the top men in the Department of Education. He was an MA and he was one of the divisional inspectors, and after his death he is buried in Shangana in Dublin. This was the lodge here. They improved on it since it was a lodge, one of the gatehouses on the way out from Heathfield House. It is not in Clonanass. It's in the next townland. I think Ratuna. up the road, the field of the bleach. Or it could be the field of the tower, but you don't remember any tower being in it?
No, I don't remember any tower being in it.
Yeah. 181 acres, 191 acres. And the owner was Buck, it must be Oliver Buck.
Oh, that'll be Oliver Buck. 191 acres.
Yeah.
Oh yes, got the tour. He'd have a lot of Johnny Weston's stories here. Got the tour this side over Johnny Weston or my candidates now.
Yeah. This townland was owned by Buck. That must be Oliver.
No, that'll be Oliver indeed.
Living in Heathfield Cottage here. And the tenants paid about £1.14 an acre in 1838.
Yes.
That was dear. Now, in 1856, Reverend William Buck was here.
Yes, right. He was the clergyman.
He was a clergyman. And there was a James Airley, John Tighe, and Michael Tighe, and Michael Airley, Thomas Ford, Anthony O'Hara, John Lavelle, James Welch, and John Doherty. 10 families here in 1856. Ever hear of any of them?
Oh, I did. You mentioned Airley.
Yeah.
Oh, that'll be Mr. Desmond Airley's great-grandfather. Michael Airley, is it?
Michael Airley, yes.
That'll be Mickey Airley's father, I'd expect. Yeah. I remember seeing Mickey Airley.
No, there was a church down here. No, a Church Education Society schoolhouse in 1856 by Reverend William Buck.
Yes, he was down there.
Yeah. You never heard of it?
I didn't hear only about the clergyman himself.
Now, you know something about the Bucks from down here, the present-day Bucks in Ballina, don't you?
Well, I did. I heard about them.
Yeah. They came from down here, did they?
Yes, well, that man that was in, first I call him in Ballintoe, but H.C. Burt was his nephew, the lawyer.
Yeah.
And he married Catholics.
Yes.
And the family then were Catholics. And Dr. Buckden was H.C.'s son. And these two young doctors then are the sons of Dr. Buck.
Yeah, there's an Oliver and an Audrey in Ballina.
There is.
Yeah.
Johnny Farrell met some of them for a shoulder one day in football. I heard them saying he was saying that he's a strong man.
Yeah, big man.
A big man, they say. Yeah. And Mary Robinson is one of them, and the lawyer, Adrian Buck.
That's right. He's involved in that film with Buck, Carrigan, Lass.
Yeah, I think so.
So this is where
that's the home place.
Originally.
Yes.
Yeah, down there.
That's what I think.
Now, who's in it today?
Good man, question of Father Diamond.
Price?
Yes, but you see that the hole on the roof, in the centre of the roof, and he's staying over at Johnny something on me candle here in Johnny Welch.
Oh, so he's not living here anymore?
No, the blew in the other year on him.
Yeah.
There was a roof put on in 1882.
A what?
There was a new roof put on that house in 1882.
Yeah.
The third roof, I'm told, at Johnny Welch.
Yeah.
And Welch was a great man of history.
What's his name now there? Michael Price?
Michael Price.
Now, before him was Joe Price, was it?
Just Father Joe Price.
Yeah, did you know him?
Oh, indeed, I knew Joe was to talk to. Yeah. He wasn't great with Father Quinn, not he wasn't great with Father Mutton. He was not.
Was he Catholic or Protestant?
He was Catholic.
Yeah.
He was in Canada and America. He was 3 in Canada and 11 in America.
Tell me.
Yeah.
Are there any reports of that house down there being haunted?
Hayfield?
Yeah.
Oh, indeed, I often had stories about it. I'm not going to hear that now.
Yeah.
I did. So there was.
You don't remember any of the stories, no?
Well, I do. I heard them. Johnny Worsted. Johnny Worsted had a sister living there from the house. So she's dead she's dead over 40 years, and he wasn't even over there. Down there over and got the tour, and she was saying she saw the light coming in Hayfield Road. Coming in Hayfield Road, and it was late at night, and it lit up on Hayfield. She made for the house, and she was in a bad way when she reached the house.
Yeah.
Yes, but Johnny Welch himself wouldn't believe in ghosts at all. He never saw ghosts. People he says, it's around here they're all the time talking of ghosts.
Well, now, he does. That other house up there is Bucks of...
that's Bucks of Heathfield.
Yeah, of Heathfield.
Yes, that was built in 1931. And you know what Donadob is below?
Yeah.
Well, the men that repaired that and built it, they walked from home below in Donadob, the Corkins, up to that every evening and back again.
Yeah.
Was it a good walk?
It was a good walk.
No bicycle or motorcycle or anything.
Now, Mick Buck was there and he taught in Ballycastle and Marion...
And the wife.
And Marion Munday taught in the Glen. Was it in the Glen she was?
Yeah, one of the 2 schools there in Ballycastle, I believe you call it the Glen School.
Yeah.
She got into the boys' school.
yeah. And then there was a big family them there, and Sean.
There was
and
indeed,
Finn,
Sean was.
Yeah, he was one of the top men in the Department of Education in the Irish section of it. Right then, before Mick Buck, do you know who owned it? Was the lodge?
Oh, that was James Monday that lived there before the Bucks owned it.
Yeah.
He was an uncle of Boland, the timber merchant in Ballina.
Riley and Boland.
Riley and Boland.
Yeah.
But I had a man to say in my father, he can't see how Riley came in it, but he never couldn't find out about Riley.
Well, Riley wouldn't be down here. They would be both partners in business, like with money.
Partners in business, that's what I
in Ballina, yeah.
That's what I expect.
So Boland,
But James and Monday was Boland's uncle.
James and Monday was
And
Boland's
that
uncle.
was a cottage, 2 rooms and a kitchen, a hip roof, and they widened it and lengthened it and made a 2-story high house out of
Yeah.
it.
That was in 1932.
That was in 1931.
1931.
It wasn't. No, I'm a year out for the 1930 because for the 1931 the buildings in Carrickeel at the Costco.
Yeah, yeah. From there. That means the slope on the hillside.
And Largan.
Yeah. A slope on a hillside.
Well, it's on a good slope.
It is.
I more than once I walked up there.
Yeah.
I was falling for the bit and I was on hurry up there and it wasn't a bit nice.
Lacken means the same thing, on the side of the hill.
On the side of the hill.
That's the television mast that, what do you call them, has
That's the
here?
television master that gives the television to the Largan fella.
It does.
Telecoder is that up.
Yeah, well, Johnny Tangy Larrigan, isn't it?
Johnny Tigg and the Ford.
Yeah. Well, this isn't in Castletown
no,
now.
this is Carn now.
This fence here between
Yes,
Carn
yes.
on the right and
Yes, on the bottom.
and Castletown on the left in
Yes,
there.
yes.
The stream coming down along Larrigan Bohin.
Yes,
Is that the one coming from down the hill, down meeting the Ballycastle Road?
It comes down the hill at Tommy Ford's there, you can see it, and it meets Crossover here.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
All comes down from Slate Hill more.
They do, down at Tommy Ford's old house.
3 parishes meet up there, don't they?
I think you'll find me someplace up there.
That's right, and Lacken and Killala. Ahalig is in Lacken, that'll be the middle up there.
I
And
suppose that,
Ballycastle over here and Kilfine on the far side.
yes.
Right.
I had Mickey West to go announced it, that the 3 parish priests had 3 stations and 3 houses one time and they met for the station. I remember hearing him saying that was that right or not, you know.
Who was this Mickey Welch? Michael Welch, was it?
Well, Mike was his name. He lived over now when we canvassed over here. It's him that was there, you see. When Johnny Welch died, we got that out.
Yeah.
And it went to the auction and Jeremy Candler bought it for around £600.
This wouldn't be Fungus Welch, was it? Ahalig, Townland, means the 4th of the flags. Garrows Hill, side of it there on the map, on the 6th inch. A river runs down by Cloonanas. I suppose there's where the fort would be somewhere, near Gortatour. O'Donovan explains it as the ford. Oh, the flag. Now, there's no fort to be seen here. There's one on the Hillfield River, in Candles in Cloonanas, and another one in Carn. Now, this here means the meadow of the flags. Leag means the flags. Oh, the ford of the flags, I should say. Now, on the 25-inch map, the area is stated as 538 acres. O'Donovan makes it 574, 290 acres of bog, and the owner was Oliver Buck in 1838. He lived in Heathfield House over there, and he charged £2 an acre yearly, and it had 15 families in those days. Now, in 1856 there were 34 families here. There were 3 families of Devines, 2 of McCandrels, 1 Hughes, O'Briens, McLeans, etc. And in 1856 it belonged to the Reverend William Buck. He got £142, 17 shillings every year from the tenants. Now, Sir Roger Palmer had leased land from him here, and a house. He had that rented in 1856. Now, Ahalig, most of it is over on this side, and away here, and it goes up the hill there for a good distance. Now, up here, Now Slade Hill in the background, and Heathfield School.
That's the boundary fence. That's the boundary wall there.
Yeah.
And
And the residence was over there somewhere, wasn't it? Boundary was coming up here on the left side, yeah. On the draw here.
There was an old house in that corner one time.
Yeah.
That's Heathfield School now.
Mrs. Curley that taught there.
Curley was the last teacher there.
Yeah. And there's the boundary wall behind it going up the hill. And she lived over there, yeah, somewhere in there.
Bushes there in Carricollan.
Yeah. Now in there on the right is Gallows Hill and an old quarry.
We're coming down to the village of Gallows Hill now.
Nahali. Now the village I thought would be the remains of a gallows and hanged and sessions and courts and criminals being hanged in the past. And all we can see is a village coming up now. The village of Gallows Hill.
Apparently there was a gallows here at one time in which they hanged people.
Now Slade Hill in the background and the Slade Quarry.
Slade Quarry.
This is the Slade Quarry.
Now those are bits of flags or tail ends that were taken out of the quarry. Some of them might be bits that were broken off the actual flags that were used. But most of them would be the top of the quarry and the ones that have been rejected.
They'll be used now for roofing houses and
Flags that came over here were used an awful lot for floors and houses. Some of them used for roofing houses. Although there was a school of thought that reckoned that they were heavy, very heavy flags.
now a lot of them must have been taken out there. You see a great area of land being rooted up there.
This is a very big quarry. It must have been in operation for hundreds of years.
Yeah.
They'd be quarried out for the old time with the wedge and the crowbar and carted away in carts.
Now behind that White House on the hill, round the bend to the left, is the Gallows Hill, the actual site of the gallows. This is the quarry on the hill. Yeah.
And at the top of Kirkahaliag there, the high door.
Kirkahaliag, yes, you know what it
Gives a view from the face of the quarry itself.
is. Oh, that's the boundary down there to the south we're looking at now. Kind of Cullen south of that.
That's the bushes there, the teacher's residence again.
It's also the boundary, the wall going
Wall
on.
of the town land,
And going up there by the school, to the top of the hill. That's to the way up there now. Now beyond that house there was the side of the garden, and not on the hilltop as you were thinking.
That's again the village of Gallows Hill. Old houses.
And there's an ancient fort where the trees are
First
growing.
side of the road.
Yeah.
There's another fort here and that high bush line at Connor's house.
Yes, there's another view
There's
of it.
another view of the same fort on the west side of the road.
that house was the gallows. You said that you find it before you come to McLean's house, is it?
You will.
On the quarry, is it?
You know where Sweep is?
Yeah.
As soon as you go up Sweep and over the road,
Yeah.
about 100 yards from the turn of Sweep, you're into Castletown.
Yeah.
It's on your right hand side. And that green road is there on your right hand side too. You'll see it.
Yeah.
You see it starting at Sweep, that green road.
And where do you find the actual site of the gallows? On the old quarry?
Yeah. Well, you see the stones on your right hand side, you're going down.
It's not up near the top of the hill now.
No.
Yeah.
No, it's about 200 yards from the top of the hill.
Yeah.
Down towards the road.
Yeah.
I can see there.
Yeah. The Slate Hill Quarry, you were saying that there were some houses roofed by the flags that came from there.
Well, what's his house in Castletown and at the one of the roof.
Yeah.
And so it's the big house. Was roof for the show.
Was it?
Tommy Hale's house. Was
Yeah.
roof with the flag too.
Was it? Yeah.
And metal bus too.
Was it?
Well,
Oh, yeah.
but it was knocked down then. And built up again. It was roof for the other slave.
Yeah. They used to use them too for the floor in houses, flag floors.
They used.
Yeah.
John David's old house was covered with them too.
Was it?
Bad. You want a good roof under it.
Yeah. Oh,
But they want good slates now.
were they?
Oh,
There wasn't flags now, were they?
so what sort of flags there was really about half an inch thick.
Ah, yeah. In Carricullen, that graveyard that's on the top of the hill, it's in your land, isn't it?
Yeah, Shilling.
What do you call it again?
Shilling.
Skilling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know what you call it in Irish.
So there's all kinds of people buried in it.
Oh, right.
Kids.
Was that the graveyard that's above an old land?
Yeah.
It's on top of the hill, that.
Yeah.
But this is what John David's house there.
Yeah.
The graveyard is there. Oh, fixed up and all.
Is it?
Oh, it is. It was fairly fit from it.
Yeah.
But the cattle used to go in the one time on the sheep, but
Yeah.
doesn't shop now. It's at the back of Tony Jordan, you know.
Oh, it is.
Yes.
So, you were saying that a Master Mahan had some people belonging to him better there, has they?
Yes, 4 Roos children were there.
Yeah.
Well, and we done the only children that were there.
Oh, I see now.
There was big people better than too. I didn't see any.
Yeah. Where was he teaching?
He was teaching in California.
Oh, yeah. In
He was
Heathfield.
after Maggie McGull first.
Yeah. He'd be teaching in Heathfield School now, would he?
He was teaching in Heathfield School. He
Yeah.
was the first man that went into it.
Yeah.
There was a book the name of How. He was teaching in California. That was the book for Dominic and Cunningham was in James Gable.
Yeah.
He was teaching them stables. That was old school. So
What?
the California wanted.
Was it?
Right. So I think the school was built in 1888.
Yeah. And Miss Curley was the last teacher in it,
She
wasn't
was.
Yeah.
And Miss Greeny was there too.
Yeah.
She was Sister Father Greeny.
So, she lived in the residence up there in Carricullen somewhere, did she? Wasn't
Miss
it?
Curley.
Yeah.
She did work from Michael this now and fellow with the beard.
What do they call him? You don't know for this name?
Pat.
Yeah.
Munla.
Munley, is it?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Because,
Oh, cousin of yours, yeah.
and you know who built that house now? And built the California school? Paul Kane.
Hines.
Yeah. Johnny Hines' uncle and father.
Oh, yeah. Oh.
And Moore Collins, Mike Collins' father, roofed that
Yeah.
house in California.
Yeah.
So that's it.
The residence.
And roofed the school and stuff and
This is the quarry over McLean's, the ancient site where the gallows stood. Jack Munley of Castlereagh tells me there were 4 big stones standing here someplace that marked the actual hanging place of criminals. Somewhere where this man is marching around there now. In the townland of Bahalig. And this is the road leading from the quarry down towards the village of Gallis Hill. Now here is the house, a shed, roofed with the slates, with the flags that came from the quarry in Gallis Hill. Large size. One of the few examples we could find. Caracul, meaning the McKillen's quarter of land, and a quarter could be anything up to 120 acres of land. This was a lot more. Now there we see the road into Castle in the village of Caracul. This is the road that goes up through the village of Caracul. And there we see a fort, Rahas. The fort north of the two forts that are south of it. And this is the road up to the graveyard. A very small graveyard it is. It's exactly at the back of Dunleavy's, and up on the top of the hill is a Carn, an ancient burial ground. There's Rahas. The fort that is has two forts out of it, and there's one of them, and there's the other. It could have come from Cato and Killeen. That's the quarter of the church. Now somewhere around here there's an old church called the Listing, maybe down there, maybe down there, and lying with that over there, that cabin. Right, the down survey of 1838 figures it is McKillen's quarter of land, whoever McKillen was. In 1838, O. Burkerfield Field House owned it. 899 acres. 250 acres of this is bog. From here it looks like all bog. There were some tenants that paid him here that paid him £87 annually in rent. Work used the rest of it for grazing. 18 families lived here then. In 1856, according to Griffith's valuations, it belonged to Sir William Roger Palmer, the Baronet of Castletown. His tenants were Anthony Kearney, Patrick Kearney, John Hughes, Owen McAndra, Thomas McAndra, Martin McAndra, Patrick Kearney, Patrick Kearney Jr., Pat O'Hara, Michael McHale, Michael Price, John Corcoran, Michael Corcoran, and Michael Price Jr., Mark Price, Michael Price, Martin Kearney, Captain Moore, Robert Moore, John Corcoran, Michael Price Jr. And there was a house around here somewhere, used by many Palmer had for herding sheep, I think, on the mountain. There are 3 round forts here, if we can find them. There's 2 over here somewhere and 1 over there. Now, Lishin Graveyard is here somewhere too. There may have been a church there, and this church may have given Caracul its name. Now, up here on the top of the hill, is a Carn, an ancient burial ground, a Bronze Age burial ground, going back to 500 BC, maybe 500 AD. It is also called Sea Fin, where Finn McCool is supposed to sit and survey his kingdom. It is 800 feet up over sea level. Down there the village of Carricullen. 3 parishes meet here. Over there Ballycastle. Here Lacken. And left of the Carn, the other side of the hill, there's an old herd house used by the Palmers for herding their sheep where the herd lived. Carn once again in the background. Left of that is Kilfine parish, the other side of the hill. Walking down the village, Carn towards the Ballycastle road, and Ahally in the background, and Gallows Hill. This is one of the forts on the south side of the townland, this one here. What's just they call it? Lisheen?
Yeah.
Ah. It's fairly small. Yeah. I think there's a couple of graves here, is there?
Oh, there's a sheep. There's a headstone here.
Yeah.
And children that wouldn't be baptized, you wouldn't be allowed into the graveyard one time. I know do now, what not?
They do?
They do now.
And they were buried there.
Yeah.
But those big people buried there too.
Yeah. So old Master Mahan, John Mahan was his name, wasn't it?
Yeah, yeah.
He has a few buried here.
There was 1 or 2 buried in the land.
Yeah, yeah. No.
The man didn't. Jack, he went out to California.
Yeah.
And there was much money lost on that for the boy holding the land. He wasn't able to pay his way abroad in California. And he had to go back to Paddybox. Mr. Brown.
Full house he taught.
Below the school downstairs doors to go to Ballycastle.
Yeah, but before that, he was teaching some stables.
We were teaching the house.
This is the road from Gallas Hill. Not from Gallas, the road from Slate Hill, Carricullen Hill, down through the village of Carricullen and onto the main road, main Ballycastle, Killala Road. There are poles up here for a telephone service. There are no wires. Here we see some of the houses in the village. The teacher's residence where Master John Mahan taught, and in the background there's the shed. There's another view of the teacher's residence, now the property of Michael Munley of the Hill. And here was the shed where Mahan taught school. The remains of it now has been knocked down and demolished, and in this place this shed stands. Miss Crowley also lived here for a time. She taught in Wheatfield School over in the townland of Ahally. Now we're about across the bridge. That'll take us on to the Castletown road. Now we're on the Castletown road moving towards Killala, and still in the townland of Carrick. Now we're into Beluce. There's a map of Beluce. According to Joyce, coming from the Irish word Belua, meaning tall, very tall trees, used for inauguration of kings or ceremonial games, and there we see the village of Beluce where the trees might have grown. On the right Beluce, on the left Carrick. Castle Road. Carrick here. Here's the boundary line on the right. Beluce on the left Carrick. And this fence over here. Winding out to the left there. And then going right at the bushes. Over along there. And down to the right is Beluce. Down here, that area down there is Beluce. Green fields over there are down ahead. Once again the boundary ditch. And Castletown road. And this is the other boundary. Running over here until it meets the Carn River. Over there somewhere. It runs down to the left. And away out far below that pile of foliage down there, we'll see it again, the bridge, and then away over here, Beluce. Turning right now off the Ballycastle road, up towards the bog and Hannahmore, but still in the townland of Beluce. Now on the right and on the left here are trees planted by the Department of Forestry. Beluce on the right and the left. Now we're moving towards the southern end of the townland. That road there goes up to Carrick, and this one goes on to Anach. And this river here on the left is the boundary line. On the left is Beluce, and on the right of this river here is also Beluce. We have Anachmore and Anachbeg back there. Now down here are also trees planted by the Department of Forestry. And the townland goes away down here to the left, extends down towards Carn. And this is the road we came. down towards the village of Billows. And here we're on the Ballycastle Road again, trying to locate the bridge where the stream runs and to find the boundary of Billows from Carn. And this is the bridge here, right here. The bridge there, boundary, we're now in where the stream flows down. And that's Billows over there on the left, extending towards Barnhill townland. And now we're back again on the road from Moor Bog that takes us into the heartland of the townland of Billows. On the right should have been these tall trees, which are nowhere in sight today. And there are very few houses here too. This was Kettle's here on the right, and I see a new one being built here on the left. On the right is where these tall trees are supposed to have grown. But today it is a boggy soil. Billows of Billows, townland of the old trees. According to Joyce, it came from Billowa. It contains 370 acres of land. 140 acres of it are bog and moor. Now, this area down here is covered now with bushes and marshy land. Once, according to Joyce, it gave this townland its name. Bille or Billowa were large trees. For some reason they were held in veneration by the people. It signified a tree where inauguration or periodical games were celebrated. The name may have lived on, although all traces of the trees have vanished, such as has happened here in Billows. It could have been where the chiefs were inaugurated. Now further down on that direction there is Carn and the hill of Carn. Either there at Mullahorn, the chiefs of this family were crowned or inaugurated. Maybe it happened here. In 1838 it was the property of Sir William Palmer. Oats, flax and potatoes were the crops that were grown then. There were 19 families living here then, according to our Donovan survey. In 1856, according to the Griffith valuation, it was still owned by Sir Roger Palmer, the baronet. The tenants were Martin Flaherty, John Tighe, Patrick Healy, Owen Healy, Patrick Murphy, Michael Healy, Michael Kelly, Patrick Tighe, James Tighe. Michael Kelly had only a garden rented. Now, somewhere around here it has one round fort, ancient fort. Yes. And down here, once again must have been the village that gave its name to the townland, Billows. And I see some new houses being built up here again. Crossroads. This road going down here, on the right Billows, and on the left and there Ballymuffy. On the right and there Barnhill. That's four townlands meet here. Townland of Ballymurphy. 70 acres of it. Sandra in the north by Barnhill, and the east by Barrow, and the south, and well, this is the Ballycastle Road in the townland of Carn. And up here now we'll be shortly in the townland of Barrow, going over the bridge which is here now. And then here on the left is the townland of Billows. And that's the road. On the right there is where the cattle are, is the townland of Ballymurphy. And there we see the boundary line where the stakes are and that drain. That town, that house in the distance up there is not in Ballymurphy. And now we're on the way up the road towards Sweep, Barnhill. On the right, the townland of Ballymurphy. And there we see the northern boundary at the far bushes up there running across to the right. And there's the only house in it, McAndrews, in Ballymurphy. That two-storey up there is Langan's of Barnhill. On the right, the townland of Ballymurphy. And here we're going into the townland now, to the right. Ballymurphy, Murphy's town. Not much of a town today, there's only one house. It is a small townland of 70 acres, the size of a good farm. It was owned in 1838 by Sir William Wright of Palmer. His agents were John Heaviside of Hollis Street, Dublin, and P. Nolan of Moyne, Killala. The tenants paid £30 annually. They grew the usual crops of oats, flax and potatoes. They were all very poor and they were all Catholics. In 1856, according to the Griffith valuation, the situation was much the same. It was owned by Sir William Roger Palmer, the baronet. The tenants were at that time Thomas Kinhart, John Kinhart, Mark O'Hara, John McAndrew and Patrick Kinhart. 5 families altogether, and 3 of them were Kinharts. McAndrews are the only remaining families here today, and they're living down there in that house.
The door.
And here we are at Sweep, and on the right there, that ridge is the boundary. Ballymurphy on the right, Barnhill on the left. Goes away over there and down to the right. And there is the house in the bushes, McAndrews, the only house in Ballymurphy. Carn. There we see what it looks like, 619 acres of it. There's Carn House and the Carn Monument and the infants burial ground. and the infant's burial ground is there. And this is where the old village of the Carns was. 48 families, and there we see 1/4 and west of it, and the river, Carn River, running down by Carrickinass Castle on the border of Carrickinass townland. And this is the Brother Castle Road. Castle Road. And on the left there we see, no, this is the boundary, where the boundary starts, this fence here, and on the left there, on our right, is the townland of Carn. And we're moving up to the boundary on the other side, at Lackland Cross Vocational School. That stream there, right of the stream, is the townland of Carn. And Lackland Cross Technical Vocational School is situated in the townland of Carn. And Carn, the head of Carn there, is over 100 feet that we're looking at now, over 100 feet over sea level. And the highest, there's the Carn Monument. And this is the west of the townland. Now this is the southern end of the townland we're in now. Boggy soil on the right there. And one of the few horses, I'd say, that are left now in the townland. One time there were many. Now there are few. Carn comes from the word Carn, which means a pile of something. In this case it was a pile of stones on a burial ground. We also have the name from the old Irish Carn, meaning a heap of something, usually Carn Healy, pile of manure outside a tenant's door or whatever. Now, this thing in the background here is a Carn. The other one is the Carn Monument. And these two give its name to this townland here, which is called Carn. Now this behind me here is the infant's burial ground. O'Donovan in 1838 gives the name of this place as Carnachillichy. He called it the Church of the Field. Dineen in his Irish dictionary defines Killichy as a place apart for the burial of unbaptized children. And that's what he means by this place up here. There must have been a church here, probably that's the remnants of one up there. In 1838, this townland contained 620 acres, 250 acres of bog and moor. John Gardner of Farm Hill owned it. His agent was Glendinning of Westport. 48 families paid a yearly rent of £190. There was also a village behind these called the Carns. In 1856, according to the Griffith valuation, it was owned by Catherine Armstrong. She had no tenants, at least there were no tenants mentioned in the Griffith valuation. She had a Hebb's house someplace back there. Now today the only house in the townland is that one up there called Jim Massey. This ruins up here, which I referred to a moment ago as the remains of an old church is in fact the limekiln. Maybe before then it was the ruins of an old church which O'Donovan refers to as Carn, the church of the field, but from its shape now I'm told it was a limekiln. And here we see the top of it having a round shape, and in the distance Lacan Cross vocational school and the other end of the townland. Now we can see the circular shape of the lime kiln. And this is the mound on the hill of Carn, and the distance the monument of Carn, or the Carn monument. This is the monument of Carn. In the background here is what's known as the monument of Carn. Or Leacht and Carn, the flag of the pile. There's a cross on the top of it, a stone cross, and it has an inscription like this here. Now the cross is 18 inches long and the arms 14 inches wide. So the stone itself is cut in the form of a cross. There are lines cut on into it to form another cross. Now the monument, or the cairn itself, or the mound itself, is 111 feet in length and 87 feet wide. Now historians differ on this, but this could have been the place where the ancient kings of Tirali and this of the Moy were crowned here, rather than Mullahoran, because further back in the next townland is the Luce, where the inaugurating trees or the ceremonial games were performed during the crowning or after the crowning. This may have been the mound here where the kings of Carn were crowned, rather than the Mullahoran mound at Killala. Back here in this Carn, in the burial ground, this Carn is 33 paces, 99 feet long and 48 feet broad, this one here. And the tradition is that the that the Church of Lacan was originally intended to be built here, and that it was for that reason the old burial places were laid out. And here along the ground we see mounds that might look like infant burial ground mounds here and down here. And here is the Carn mound, and there's the cross with the circular inscription on the face of it. Underneath this are caves leading down towards Carrick-on-Esk Castle. I've been told by John Lynott, who was down there, and James Massey also, who had dogs that ran down in the tunnel. I'm told it was fairly wide down there, if one could get into it. And here's where some irresponsible Tarzan made an attempt to go down to these caves recently and left it in a bad condition after he had finished. The entrance was always narrow, 2 feet wide by 2 feet high, and then when you got inside it was fairly wide. A man could stand up and walk way down the tunnel. And this cairn is a cave having an opening in the northeast, where it is 2 feet high and 2 feet broad, penetrates to the centre, where a man can't stand up with ease. Now John Lynott has been in this years ago. Down here is Lacan Cross Technical School, the far end of the boundary, southern end of the boundary. And there's a stream there by that fence, a hedge going way up there to the right. Marks the boundary of the townland of Carn. Way up there where the stream is. Narrowing in up there. All the way up there. Then it comes way down to the right. Looking at later on here is the house of Jim Massey in the trees. Somewhere over here was the old village of Carn before 1838. On the west side. Back here was the old village of the Carns.
Yes, that was the old village back there, yes.
You remember seeing the foundations of the houses?
Oh, I remember seeing the foundations way back in, well, from 1923 on here, when I came to live here, I remember seeing all those foundations.
Yeah.
And the land project came in then, and bulldozed all the foundations away.
Yeah.
And just right through the middle of the sheep there, the road started here and it went right the way back, and there's some of it way back there yet.
Yeah.
And on the both sides of the road was all these little buildings, like a two-room small building.
Yeah.
And the foundations were there until 1960 when the land project came in and bulldozed them all away and drained a bit of the ground and all that.
Yeah. Yeah.
And away back all the ridges of the little plots of potatoes are all there yet to be seen.
Yeah. Yeah.
And they're all mounted up just the same as
Oh,
the times that were there.
ancient times.
Is that all right?
Oh, indeed. So down on this hill here, Jim, there was a lot of houses.
Down on that hill now, the way down to the bottom, you can see where the fence runs along there, or it goes right to that fence down there. And there was a lot of houses. We plowed up that field there. We got the mofton and the stones and the track of fireplaces and all that, you know.
Yeah.
But that was all bulldozed, and there's a big wall over there now, it's about 8 foot wide, and all the stones were put into that wall.
Yeah.
You know, so that's...
Yeah. You don't know, they were gone before your time, the people?
Oh, they were gone before, no.
Did you ever hear any legends or anything about them?
Well, no, just about how the field got its name.
Yeah.
Got the name of Gibber. That the people that lived here, you see, they were always afraid of the other people. This was the main road to Ballycastle long ago.
Yeah.
And they were always afraid when people were coming along, you see, that from the market that any money or anything that the Gibber or these fellas that pounce out on them and take the money off them. And there was some trouble out in Gibraltar at the time, and they christened the field Gibraltar, and that's how it worked out, you see, and that's how it got its name, Gibraltar.
Yeah. See, it was the main road from...
That's the main road now. It went out and down over there, the Paddy Joe Barrett's, and it went out at Galhurst.
Oh yeah, from Ballycastle to
Ballycastle to Killala, and across the Palmerstown River.
Yeah.
See, there was no bridge.
Yeah.
There was a lot of roads at that time, you know, and there was all legends about that those roads were built on a plate of stirabout, and you know, by right they were called those roads at that time they're supposed to be the stirabout roads.
Yeah, I heard about that, alright. I heard about that, alright.
They were built on a plate of stirabout and pay.
Yeah. Oh, that was the pay, was it?
That was the pay.
Must be famine times.
Oh, must be famine times.
Must be famine times.
Yeah.
That fence over there is your boundary.
Just Dunhoe's outside the house there, you see.
Yeah. Goes away back to the right.
Goes away back to the right.
It's this side of Dunhoe's house, isn't it?
This side of Dunhoe's house. Yeah, that's it. And
just the boundary
that's
to
the boundary down
south,
there now.
more or less. That wall. And it goes up here to the right.
Up here to the right.
That house there in the bushes you were talking about.
That's the one.
So straight down here in this flat was
straight right round about,
a village of houses here.
Village of houses on that flat there.
Yeah. And you say some foundations can be.
Some foundations can be identified,
Yeah. And on the top of the hill there was an ancient...
was a fort. There was nothing significant about it, only that it was a big mound of clay, but it was very well laid out, as regards its shape and the building of it.
Oh, probably some powerful family had it built there in earlier times.
Probably,
Yeah, living in cattle and whatever.
Yeah. But the land project levelled all those houses out too, and took the stones out for building gaps and
and walls.
and cattle passes and all those things.
Yeah. Another ancient fort on the hill there.
Yeah,
settlement.
another ancient fort.
And this was the one where you found the coins.
That's where we found the coins.
Copper coins, were they?
They were copper coins, and they were very large. They were as large now as an old half crown.
Yeah. No name of this fort.
No name on that fort that I ever heard of.
Down there towards that palm tree too was also the site of Carrickinares Castle.
That shape, yeah.
Yeah.
Hidden.
And yeah, from here roughly.
It's between the four, and you can see the end of the wood, a small wood back there.
Yeah.
Just at the end of that, outside, the other side of it now.
That's where the Carns came from.
It came from
The blacksmiths.
the blacksmith.
And I know in Pohon.
Let's start off.
Yeah.
Down in that house there now, a family of Commons lived there.
Yeah.
Anyway, back in the 1920s they left it.
Yeah.
Immigrated up as far as Carrickeen up
Oh
there.
yeah.
So there's a wife of one of them living up there yet.
Yeah.
So that's all the...
Well, we saw that old fort down the field there on the right hand side. And you were talking about some coins.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What were they like?
They were copper and they were big, they were big, they were just like as big as the rest ground.
Yeah.
And of course it wasn't really easy, you couldn't identify anything on them that way.
Yeah.
Well, there's a man named Johnny Irwin who was working on the council,
Yeah.
and he showed me two of them. So I don't know what became of them. Probably a lot more than that in the store. Right.
That was a long time ago, was it?
That was way back in 1928.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You don't know when you came here, do you? Or
Joe?
Yeah.
November 1923.
you came here?
Yes, yeah.
And you weren't too far away, I think, when you came here.
Around 3 miles.
Yeah.
3 miles away.
Right away, was it?
Court Hill.
Court Hill. Yeah.
Court Hill. That wasn't the true name of Court Hill now, because the true name was Rathmaduffin.
Yeah.
Court Hill got its name there for in the olden days, that's where the court on
the criminals and the people that wouldn't be behaving themselves. Yeah.
And then they were hung back in Gallas Hill, that's how it got its name.
Yeah, Court Hill.
Like that's what it's handed down to us.
Yeah. The legend, that's what it is. Yeah. I suppose your father and your grandfather you had talking about this, was it?
Oh, yeah, my grandfather, my father talking about it.
Yeah. Your father's name was George Massey?
George Massey.
And then the grandfather was James, was it?
No, Bob Massey.
Bob Massey. I was looking through some valuations there around 1871, and I saw a James Massey in Railway. That wouldn't be any one of you, would it?
Well, it must be, but I don't know how the Railway came into it.
There was a
Well, we had a farm in, but it was adjoining this village of Railway.
Yeah, maybe that was it.
No.
Maybe that was it.
So it might have been part of Railway at that time,
So, you think your great-grandfather was over there in Court Hill?
My grandfather was in Court Hill, yeah. My great-grandfather, I don't know where my great-grandfather lived, but he owned 3 farms. Way back in the 1860s, 70s.
When you came in here now, was it this the original house, or did you...
Well, this part of it was here now. This part of it was here, but it has been renovated a couple of times.
Yeah. Oh, you didn't have any new buildings to it?
Just the porch outside.
Yeah. I suppose this house here would have been built by Catherine Armstrong, was it?
Oh,
she was here in 1856.
Must be.
Yeah. Was there anybody here before you came into it? Like, was it vacant, or how was it? Or?
Well, you see, none of mine lived here.
Ah, yeah.
And
he got married away back in 1988 or something. He got this farm, his father got 14.
Yeah.
And this man here died, he got a 2,000. And when Spider-Man got a 2,000, he was dead that day week.
You tell them.
He was only 46.
Same thing did away with Michael Davis, you know, that land, some kind of infection or something from it.
His wife had 2 daughters and a son. So the son was on veterinary at the time, and he sold out and went to Edinburgh.
Oh, yeah.
So the son of his practice in England. The girl is living in Edinburgh. So the father bought this place there and sold it for cheap.
So you have been here for generations of generations?
Oh, well, we have, yeah.
You have, yeah. It's under the tunnels of the cave, as they call it. It's under the Carn monument over there, isn't it?
It's one of the Carn monument.
Yeah. You remember seeing it open one time, do you?
Oh, well, just now.
Yeah.
We only saw the face of it, you know, the cave.
Yeah.
The mouth of the cave.
It was supposed to be 2 feet each way. Would that be the dimension?
About that. I went in a small bit in it one time, just a couple of yards.
Yeah.
And it was high. It was only about 2 feet, but it's higher than.
When you get inside?
Yeah. It did stand up on it.
What about the dogs you had?
Well, I had a dog here one time. Used to go back from it, and you could just barely hear him bark, and it was that distant.
Yeah.
I always thought to see that it was a long way away. You know, that we must have been back a long way.
Yeah. Maybe 50 yards, maybe 60 yards?
50 yards. I thought he would be over a mile, you know.
Yeah, maybe he was out under the road.
He might be.
You think it was going in the direction of Carricknass Castle?
Well, there's a moan coming from down in that direction, and it's there to be very prominent there in the field.
Well, the noise...
This man made, you know, something.
Yeah. The noise from the dogs, like, which direction do you think he was going in?
Oh, he was west, in fact, you know. So we thought it was the houses, you know, that direction. You know, I thought it was that direction.
So he was going back this way, was he?
Why do you think?
Oh, the old village of the Carns, that's the direction he was taking, was it?
Well, you'd imagine it was that way. It couldn't be the other way. But sure, when the sound was coming up through this cave, it wouldn't be easy to know
I know.
what direction he was.
I was talking...
He seemed to be very distant.
I was talking to John Lynott there, and he says, as a young fella, he went back in it. And he says he thought it was going north for Carricknass Castle, more or less.
Yeah.
They went back a good bit in it.
Well, there's another man in the locality that always said that he went back. He mentioned the good turning down that way. And there was big stone trucks and lidded and all that.
Down the tunnel.
Down the tunnel, down to your right.
Yeah, towards Carricknass. Yeah.
No, I think we're right.
Carricknass, meaning the rock of the cataract or the waterfall. There we see it. All 244 acres of it. There is the Carricknass road running down towards the post office. And here's the road that goes up, 1/4 there goes up to Carricknass. And there's the site of the ancient castle of Carricknass. That's where the waterfall is too, that gives it its name. This is the road leading up to it. Up there on our left of that is Carricknass. This is the bridge here, and there's the stream. Up as far as that bush there, it is Carricknass, left hand side of the road here. All Carricknass up there to the right. And there we see a fort in the fields. Probably an ancient settlement from bygone days. Well, this piece on both sides of the road is in Carricknass. Down there on the left and up there, right of that fence there. On the left is Carbetmore, right is Carrickinass. Goes up probably as high as that ditch up there. This wall here on the right of it is Carrickinass. That piece up there is, we're looking at now, is Moor. See the boundary wall going across there, turning down into the left. Left of that ditch there is Carrickinass, right of it is Moor. And there we see the bridge up there. It was a waterfall, and I hope that we can hear it from over here. Carrickinass contained 244 acres according to O'Donovan survey of 1838. It was owned by Sir William Palmer. Tenants paid 20 shillings an acre and the lease was for 3 lives. The tenants grew crops of oats, flax and potatoes. The site of Carrickinass Castle is here. All that remains of it. It was said to have been built by the Bucks. The Strafford survey of 1635 referred to it as Carrickinass, having a killer, a castle and a bawn. Killer would mean the church of the field, the castle we know, and the bawn would be the plain, lee ground, dry pasture, or land, or riverside pasture, usually found around the castle. This looks like a deer. Dan Farrell tells me there was 20 acres of it. According to H.T. Knox, David Burke of Castlereagh was given the castle of Carrickinass and 6 quarters of land free. This was according to the indenture of composition of 1585. The castle was there before then. The McFadden family was in possession of it up until Welland times around 1650. The ruins remain today, and part of the bawn, and well, the ruins are here anyway. The bawn is around here. We don't see any of the walls that have disappeared. So back there behind you is the waterfall that gave the name to Carrickinass.
It's another sort of waterfall, but it's not as conspicuous as it says that one.
Yeah.
Huh?
But there's a good sound from that one, isn't there?
Oh, there's a good sound on another one behind the people ahead of us. There's a great sound from, and another one there below, outside my garden, there's a sound.
Yeah.
Here, look outside yourself, you see the track of the steps going out to it. Up and down the steps on the front over the way.
To the mill?
Yes. And look at the snag abroad. That broke Johnny Jordan's back in the middle.
Yeah.
They're stopping the sluice.
Oh, yes.
There it's there.
How did he manage to break his back with it?
He went out on a flood.
Yeah.
To let the water go.
Yeah.
And to take the flag.
Yeah.
And the fish in the front and the water, and all, he wasn't able to manage it. And into the spring, he was back and he died from it.
How long ago do you think was that? So that would have taken place about 150 years ago. So the river was a lot bigger that time than it is then.
Just where's the water come from that time? No other now.
Jordan's Mill.
Yes, Jordan's Mill.
Tell me, was it corn or flax they were?
Corn, I think it was.
Corn mill. Corn mill.
And he was doing some closure business too.
Yeah.
They came, I think, from Belmore.
Yeah.
Huh?
Yeah.
Or back that country. I think that's where they came from.
Yeah. This here is the remains of the old McManaman house.
Yes, that's there.
Yeah. How many of them were in it, do you think?
There was Martin, and there was Tony, and Pat, and Jimmy, and John.
Yeah.
There was 4 sons anyway.
And the men that were in the police?
There was Tony, and Jim.
Yeah, and there I see.
And there I see.
You don't know where they worked, no?
Oh, no.
No, they didn't work around here like in Killarney.
No, they were way up the Midlands themselves.
Oh, yeah.
And what you call below, Patsy McHale was stationed in the one place, so you could find out where that was.
Yeah.
Right.
You know, well.
Yeah, can you go down in near it?
Probably belonged to the castle.
Yeah.
First home of the McManamans here.
That's there.
And that was
the Jordans.
Of the Jordans.
Yes.
And the second one there.
And that was the McManamans.
Yeah.
And that was the old McManamans too.
Yeah. So the Jordan man was the man that owned the mill.
Jordan man was the man that owned the mill.
Yeah.
The first one that was fired struck the corner.
You're talking about cannonballs now.
Yes, from the top of our road was fired the French.
Yeah.
And the first one that was fired struck the corner and it broke it in two.
Corner of one of these old houses up here?
No, but the castle.
Corner of the castle?
Yes. And the second one struck it in the centre and pushed it.
Oh yeah, from Knockrow.
Yes. I often thought that tail, because that tail is true or not now.
Post. According to John. Saddle, Carcanel. And there are caves or tunnels here too, and an entrance somewhere. Down here is the wall, more of the Brooms wall, boundary wall between Carn on the right and Carcanas here on the left. Goes away down there. Fort. There's an entrance here somewhere. And more of the Brooms wall.
And she visited Thomas.
This area up here is called Castle.
This is called Castle. There's only the two Pamalas in it.
Yeah.
McManamans and McCabe.
Yeah.
That was all there was in it.
Yeah.
In Castle. Carcanasset promised 3 and they belong the Holloway down there.
That's right.
To Bernhill May.
Yeah. So did they call this, I suppose they called it Castle on account of the castle that was built
I
here?
believe that was
Yeah.
well, it was known, what you call told me on the Water Survey map, he says, it's known as Castle, he says.
Yeah.
And at the time that there came letters here after me coming here, and 'twas to Castle they came.
Yeah. Oh yeah. So would you call it Castle now, or are you in Carcanas?
I'm in Carcanas now.
Ah yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
By the clergy and the state and all. I must be right.
We'll see it like.
Eh?
From the wall down
The
there.
wall there, going over there, over between me and Poona Valley, and going over the top of Knockrow, and going down and coming across Johnny Bidden's land below, and back between Atlantic Boys, between Atlantic Boys, Carcanas and Ballinelk, going back to my Mearnation and Bernhill Road.
They called it Deerpath.
Deerpath.
Yeah.
More of Brown that got it built in the bad times for relief,
Oh, you were giving employment to
giving
the...
employment to the poor.
She was good, I believe, wasn't she?
Oh, she was good. She was supposed to be good, but they said the husband was a bastard.
Yeah. She came from where Still Knox is living today, didn't
Yes,
she?
that's where she was married. The house was out in the front of where Still Knox is today.
Yeah. Well, was that the mound where the old cannons are in the front? Is that where the house was built?
I cannot tell you now where
Yeah.
I was never went round about much or round that house at all, but I often heard that wasn't, but that was the stables where Knox is living now.
Yeah.
And that the big house was out in front on the rise.
Yeah.
Aye.
What was his name like?
Well, you mean the Lashman was it?
Yeah, or as far as back as he can go.
The fair back it goes Tromahare was supposed to be.
Yeah.
It was a brother of my grandfather.
Yeah. And they owned a lot of land here, didn't they? Did they own all Carcanas at the
And
time?
they didn't put the one to go jail, and the one for Jack Ayres behind, you know.
Yeah.
And where Patrick Langan is,
Yeah.
the other side of the road.
Yeah.
John O'Reilly's land.
Yeah. You were, oh yes, your great grandfather.
Yeah.
So, who was the last of them that was there?
He behind her.
Yeah.
Well, James Ayres was the last one that died on Paddy and the mother sold it.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, his brother, a brother of Jack's father.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, Jack's one of them too.
And the brother Father Tom Ayres and Dr. Ayres.
Yeah.
I seen them all myself.
Yeah.
One they died pretty young, some of them.
Yeah.
Father Tom O'Hare came to Cooneel teaching, and Father Tom O'Hare came as parish priest to Cooneel in about March, and he died in December. He was 59 years only. He was strong as a horse.
Yeah. Oh yeah,
Um,
although O'Hare has been a big strong
Well,
man.
he was, and well,
Yeah.
Dr. O'Hare was, I seen him on a cure kills, and he was a very big strong man.
Yeah. This house that was down here, did you ever hear of dances or anything been in
Up in one in the loft. That's not so long since ago at all.
Yeah. Who was having them? Was it local people?
James Ayres had them.
Oh, was it? Yeah.
Hello.
Was it? Hello there.
Or did he sell the loft? Johnny Hen.
of Killola.
Yeah. And he showed the streets test, what do you call them? There was cycling. Gavin, Johnny Gavin.
Oh, but man can't in Carn.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And who knocked there's not a trace of it down there now, so.
I know.
Who levelled it out there?
George.
Was the land come?
Or was it?
Was it Georgie?
Yeah.
It could be, I couldn't tell you. Look, when you haven't much heat on, that's a good for you.
When would it be? The 1950s?
1960, 1980. It's heat enough for the first 3 years. It's hair
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah.
He'd be a brother of Powder's, wouldn't he?
Yes, he'd be older than more.
Yeah. Which army was he in now?
This army, this
The Irish army, was
Irish
it?
army.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So Paddy'd be alive all the time?
Well, I suppose he is, and then there was Nancy, and then I don't know where she is.
Yeah. You don't know where he is living either?
Oh, no, I don't know.
What would he be to you then? First cousin of it?
He would not. He's
Well-
the first cousin of Jack here.
Oh, yeah.
Grace Jack.
Is Jack nearer to them than what you were?
Oh, for one, he's the same O'Hare.
Yeah.
Jim Massey.
Oh, yeah, you were a different O'Hare. So
Different.
I thought you were the one O'Hare.
Well, the old people was the one brothers. You know how it
Yeah,
is.
yeah, yeah.
With Jack here and Paddy.
The Carricknass Road. And down here, this depression. This one, two-story house, O'Hara's Road, down here. It has been levelled to the ground. And parts of it's sold to different people. The hilt is down there. And down there in the depression between the two houses, the side up, the O'Hara's of Carricknass. It's the boundary wall now, from the north, on the west end, and go towards Barden Hill. Ends up here, meet the river. Across the river there is Carn. Here's the river going down. Here's the boundary on the south end, the river. And there was the site up. Carricknass Castle. And John Farrell's house in the background. Carricknass the way down here. This is the Carn River here, and up here. It looks narrow now, but it may have been wider in the 15th century. There's a legend that belongs to Carn. Might be this Carn, or it might be the Carn and Madonna. The evidence in both cases is not conclusive. Now, the legend is the Lynott family, according to H.T. Knox, were owners of half of the castle and land of Carn. The other half was owned by Carews after the 13th century. There was a row between the barracks and the box from 1452 until 1584. It was during this row, or this war, that this event took place either here or in the Growler. It took place near Carn Castle. Well, we haven't so far been able to find Carn Castle here. There was a Carn Castle in the Growler, within the Swiftens Stone missing. So, there are anomalies in both cases. The Lynotts murdered Barrett Stewart who came to collect the rent, and threw his body into a well near Carn Castle. He was nicknamed Stroller. The Barretts disputed the Lynotts and penalised him by giving them the choice of emasculation or blindness. The Lynotts chose blindness. Needles were thrust into their eyes, and they were made blind. To test them, they were ordered to cross Clohan Minal near Carn Castle. These were stepping from the river. Any one of the Lynotts that succeeded in crossing the stone had his eyes done again, and until he failed to make a stepping stone. And now this river may have been wider, and we see some big rocks there in the back that may have been used as stepping stones. Again, it's pure speculation, but it could have happened. The few didn't end there. The Lynotts then aligned themselves with the box. They took Tibbet's box, Tibbet the Moil, or Tibbet the Ball, he was called, as a foster son, and the Barretts later on assassinated him. And then the Barretts had to pay an eric which was a fine, to the lineage to settle the matter peacefully. The barons had to give up 18 quarters of land that amounted to 5,000 acres. The tracts of land were chosen by the lineage. They chose tracts so that the barons were completely surrounded by the box. One of the areas chosen was the Leach, with its castle, and 1,000 acres. That is how the box overcame the barons in 1684, and Cromwell took it away from Malcolm in 1652. Now it's interesting to know that this Carricknash castle up here was a box castle. So it was an enigma whether it happened either here or in Maglona.
I think it's circulation most. Yeah. The circulation is gone under a right foot.
So there was no Hogan Sheebean?
Not that I had to know.
Yeah.
But Hogan, take a time now, Sean. Hogan wasn't the first resident that was there. It was Murphy that was in it before him.
Yeah.
Unless they had it.
Yeah.
And that sheebing was in.
Maybe.
But shoot, there was a sheebing below your own country. Around the road.
Oh, there was many sheebings down there. There was one up there near the crossroads at Lurking Cross. But that's in another townland altogether.
Yes. Well, but Hogan that he had, he was an ex-RAC sales.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
remember him, I seen him.
He lived down here at the corner of the road somewhere.
He lived opposite Kevin McCandle at our house, just right opposite it. Kevin McCandle has some wood land on this side, and Dominic Harris, the rest of it on the east side of the boy.
Yeah.
Now,
Paddy Lyman at the moment still had a house.
Well, it wasn't Paddy Lyman that bought the slits and the timber off it.
Yeah.
And demolished the drill.
There used to be dances down there too,
There
wasn't
used to be dances there in the loft coming out to the road.
Yeah.
It was a granary, as they used to call it inside.
Yeah.
Out to the road there.
Who was holding? Was it Dyer?
James O'Hare himself.
Oh, James himself. Carol plays and
No, pay your money at the door.
Oh, you hear the right ballroom in it,
The
had you?
right ballroom.
Oh, yes.
It was proprietor himself and MC and everything.
They hadn't amplification like they have today, had they?
Ah, not at all. Just some fella around about the place.
You were never at them, were you?
I was never at the myself. I was never at them.
Yeah.
Because that's not the side we used to go at all.
Oh, yeah.
We're going away.
Both sides of the road here is Carricknash. One of the few terrible roads we have left, I think, here. Carricknash Road. On the right, Carricknash. On the left, Clouded Moor. This here, Carricknash Bridge. Half of it is in Carricknash and the other half is in Clouded Moor. The borderline of the road, boundary, the townland boundary. All going up there, boundary on the left, from the valley, on the right, Carricknash. This is the townland of Cluna Valley here. And right up the wall down there is Carricknash. Barrow. Townland named after the red hilltop. And the red top. And there's the site of Triangulation Point, 106 feet over sea level, that gives it its name. size of the townland is 137 acres, 138, and here we are on the Ballycastle Road. We're turning in now, still in the townland of Carn. And here we're coming up to a well-known landmark, Barrow Bridge. As soon as we cross the bridge, which we're coming up to now, we'll be in the townland of Barrow. And here it is, the humpback. There's a stream on the right of that is Barrow. Now it goes way up there to that hedge, moving in behind that hill. And on our left as we travel up here is Barrow townland. Coming to an end right here on the left side. And here we're moving back again towards Barrow Bridge from the northern end of the townland to the southern end of the townland, moving towards Carn townland. And left of that is Ballymurphy, and the right of it is Barrow from here over to the bridge. Small townland, 138 acres. And there's the familiar sight of the bridge. Under it runs Carn River, which is the boundary. So we're quite close to Carn townland here. Runs away down there towards Carricknass Castle, dividing Carn from this is O'Hara's house, and the other one over there, we can't see it. Yes, this Price is the only two houses in the townland, and we're standing here on the hill that gives it its name. Barrow, with one of the inhabitants there, Jimmy O'Hara. Barrow, according to O'Donovan, comes from the Irish words Bor Roa, meaning the red hilltop. It is situated in the south of Blacken Parish. It contains almost 138 acres of land. Again, it was owned in 1838 by Sir William Palmer. Tenants then paid £40 yearly for the whole townland. They grew flax and potatoes. 25 families were living there then. In 1856, according to the Griffith valuation, it was owned by Sir William Roger Palmer, the Baronet. The tenants were James Jordan, Mark O'Hara and Patrick Kinhart. There is a trigonometrical point here somewhere on this hill. And here we see a stone that comes from the quarry, a red stone in the middle, giving townland its name. And there's the site of the quarry over there, in that field, beyond that, then bales of hay. And down there too, I'm told that the late Peter O'Hara found a cave, but didn't investigate it. And this is the road that leads down to Carricknass, down here. And we're about to take that road now. Coming towards the end of the townland now. Across the fence here is Carricknass. And on the right there is Barrow, looking to the west side of it. On the left is Carricknass. And that, there's the boundary wall there. Carricknass Castle is over there, left of that house. And on the right there is Barrow. And there's the hill that gives it its name in front of O'Hara's house. Now this river runs towards Carricknass River. It's running towards the north, and the river is running from west to east. And on the left of this road is Barrow, on the right is Carricknass. You see the level lands there of Barrow, Prices and O'Hara's. The only two houses now in this small townland here of Barrow. You see, Barrow Bridge. The new bridge, when was it built? You remember it, don't you?
1910, it was taken away, the old bridge with the flood.
Yeah.
So that bridge was built sometime after. I don't know what time it was built.
Yeah. And you remember the man that built it?
It was Ben.
Yeah.
His brother was to be down probably on the road side.
Yeah. What was his first name, do you remember?
I know it was a Pat.
Yeah. Did he come from Ballycastle or back there?
Came from being Ballycastle.
Yeah. And the stones they used was the stones from Barrow Quarry, was it?
Right.
Yeah.
So that bloody river is all a quarry.
Yeah. That's right. Well, you remember a quarry being down there, or you heard of a quarry being down there under
Massive land.
yeah, and under O'Hara's house?
Massive land.
Yeah. Was there anything in the under O'Hara's house there, between O'Hara's house and the river?
Yes, there was.
Yeah, well, yeah.
But in massive land there was a quarry there, the quarry stones from the steam of the road.
Free stone.
Yeah,
And when you broke it in the middle, then it had a red headed.
with a red ribbon head.
Yeah, yeah.
It was broke with the crusher anyway.
Oh, well, yeah. Barrow Bridge would be built after 1910, wouldn't it?
Because the 1900 it was knocked over with the flood.
Yeah,
Flood brought.
yeah,
So sometime after that they put it split.
yeah,
And that piece of the house was this.
yeah,
Our house.
yeah,
And Jim's house in Ashton.
yeah,
It was the Lancashire that knocked
yeah,
Jim's house.
yeah,
And I don't know who bought the skates with them.
yeah,
Skates were sold off.
yeah,
It's Paddy, whatchamacallit, I don't know, Paddy Golden
yeah,
and the Lavender along the way.
yeah.
4 or 5 vehicles in
Yeah.
combat here somewhere.
Yeah, well, there's no trace of the house now, like it has been devilled. There's only a hole on the ground.
Well, that's all now.
You don't remember the old man in it, do you?
The old horse,
James O'Hara himself, do you?
I say I don't remember James Howell, he was a brother of Pat O'Hara, but no.
Oh, yeah. You don't know any history about his father before him and that, no?
Oh, I know nothing about it. I didn't know that.
Peter Neary, I think, brought them in, did he?
Who?
The parish priest, Peter Neary.
Brother O'Hara.
I think so.
He didn't play in O'Hara there because O'Hara must be in himself before Father Mary.
Was he?
He was, of course.
Your man's father, James's father, was there before that, was he?
He was.
Was it James that built the house then, or was it there before that?
It was there before. And
Yeah,
Patsy O'Hara, I think, was James O'Hara's father.
yeah,
Sure, it was him that was going with the bowl of mail on go. In Carricknass.
How was that?
The kind of poor people was coming to him for the bowl of mail. And
People were coming to him at the time of the famine, were they?
yeah.
Oh, yeah. For grub.
And then you put in and to the same to Pat O'Hara, saying Lord John Moore's about the Hara. We saw him with McDonald and John Moore saying the Hara. And Patty Hampton was gone home to the dinner. Harold wanted Pat more railway, Pat more from Murky, but the new iron Harold to Anthony the thing bad yet. So we changed it, but then here's that. We had it fixed up for young Paul Patrick. So when did you learn to work one then? Says I've seen Anthony. If you want giving out the ball rail on going getting your name.
So that was it. They were probably landlords at the time, wasn't they?
Well,
They must have tenants.
bailiffs.
Ah, yeah.
So it was the poor people's land they took.
I know.
Put it over.
Yeah. They paid the rent.
Paid book off.
Yeah, I know, but they had some money to pay in those days when there wasn't money around.
Well, I believe you might be right.
Yeah, I think that's the way it worked.
But some old man, I know who he was now. I was in up for Franklin Donald.
Yeah.
Probably can't tell you that. He knows more about it than me. Was the foragers.
Yeah.
And O'Hara came on the stage chair and he told him not to throw it down. Don't put it up. So O'Hara fired out down. And he fell off the chair going home to him and broke his knee. And that was the last O'Hara.
Which O'Hara's was it now?
Pat O'Hara's father, Jim O'Hara's father too.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Well, that'll be over the road now, where towards Hearts.
It was back in Massey.
Right, I know.
I
I know where it is over there, all right.
Carriganet.
Yeah.
He was supposed to fire out the pot. Was boiling at Massey.
Yeah.
And she had a little boiling or something and went to the room from Massey. I came shelf around. Fired out her. I know.
The whole lot.
Fired out the whole lot. Oh, a family can tell you that anyway.
Yeah. That'd be Pat's father, wouldn't it, James?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Patsy
would be his name, would it?
Yeah.
Yeah. That'd be in famine times, I suppose, was it?
Indeed.
Yeah.
Would be.
Yeah. Palmer's Bridge up there. That was the Palmers that built it.
Yeah. Palmer's from my head.
Yeah. Was that Tom Palmer?
Well, I couldn't tell you now what was his name.
Yeah.
But you know, it was the Palmers that built it. And it was the man the name of Go on Thief. That done the building and he never finished it.
Is that so?
That's what I heard now. I often heard.
You didn't hear which part of it did he leave unfinished?
I didn't.
Yeah.
There was a line of houses on this side of the road now.
Is that Howard's side? Down where Howard's at today?
As you go back for Toby Bus, from when you go up the road now, you know, for Knoxville Gate.
Yeah, turn for Ballycastle.
Turn for Ballycastle. And there was a line of houses there.
Yeah.
I spent there, them digging up the foundations and the time of the steam rolling the road.
Did you?
And Michael Troy was saying that there was lots of people living in it, and he knew them well, and it was like his opportunity around him. Well, Michael wasn't too young when he came there. Michael was come from Classmore this way, as he was a boy in Bairn Hill.
Yeah.
And then they got to that house in Penstown, where they were living on a van.
Yeah.
Double bus.
That road coming up there, it mustn't be too long in it, coming up by the bridge going left there up by Tobus. Was it in a long time?
From Tobus up to Tully.
No, up to Doonamona and up towards Larkin Cross.
That's up from Calvert.
Yeah, no, up from the bridge.
Oh, but it's around the Ballycastle Road.
Well, it was where it was the Tully, on the Tully Road the houses were, was it?
No, there was the bridge.
Oh, at the bridge there. Yeah.
And you turn on for Tobus bus.
Oh, I see. On the left hand side there.
Yeah, on the right hand side.
On the right hand side.
Yeah.
Oh, in the wood more or less.
Were there along the road?
Were they?
They were there along the road. So the house was built before the house, the road was built.
Ah, yeah.
So Johnny Burke's house was there up to the road. Step out on the fire out in the road. And Toby Burke.
There was two lodges going into Castlereagh House, wasn't there?
2 year houses.
Was that what they were called?
Yeah.
I see them down as a light in the map.
Those ones at Dolly Atkins.
Yeah.
And there's the one McGuire. Well, there was another one about the beginning. At Rolex.
That's 3.
There was
Yeah.
3.
Yeah.
3 in it.
And a road went way up by the creamery there and round by the river, didn't it?
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. This is there yet.
It is. The other road that was going up there now was the avenue, wasn't it? Up to the...
Yeah.
And before they were in
That was Crummel's Road that's going up there now.
up by the...
Up here.
Oh, by your house now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Crummel. But Crummel's Road is the first place he spread on when he came to this country first.
Mm. But he came round either.
It's called Crummel's Road.
You're telling me about the Castlereagh Castle, like up there, that it wasn't there at all first, that it was built somewhere down near the bridge, wasn't it?
It was on top of the hill now, the back of Tony McGuire's new house. You can see the foundations there. It's the old castle up on you.
You're sure it isn't in front of... On the top of the hill there?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's the old castle was.
Yeah.
And they changed the castle up into our place,
Yeah.
about where I am now.
Yeah. You remember seeing the house there?
Which house?
Castlereagh house.
Or is it?
Yeah.
I remember seeing taken down too. It was the rank commission took it down.
1923 was it, or 24 or 25?
And then I couldn't tell you now when the last of the Nazi days.
Hmm.
It must be taken down in 1940. Taken down in 1940.
1940.
If I could know when, I'll find out for you, when Castletown was divided.
Yeah.
That still being divided, the house was taken down.
Yeah. Mackie Munley.
Mackie,
Yeah.
the land commission board.
Yeah.
Glynn was in it too, but he wasn't on the run of the house.
Yeah.
But John
Yeah.
McGuire was on the taking down that house.
Yeah. Yeah.
Since Mikey, well, Stones is out chimney. Well, they had a rope on the chain round the chimney, and one chimney, he used to come like this, and I balanced him from us twice or 3 times.
Yeah.
Well, anyways, there wasn't his, and he was in Jay Cloud, and we came work and me, or that.
Yeah.
And then the chimney come and hit the other one. And we can clear off the stones cut.
Which Mikey was this now?
John Burson, the brother of Paddy.
Oh,
He was dead before he went to Castletown.
this is Perry Burke and Mary Burke in the road there, is it?
Oh,
Or?
no. Paddy, you know Paddy?
Oh, I do, yeah.
But that's just loans at the road.
Oh.
The house.
That built his house there.
Mm.
I believe there was gates to a lot of houses around there.
And
That
they wanted a nice cut stone that was on the chimney.
Yeah.
And any of the stone was as good as it.
Yeah. But it looked
He
better.
lost his wife on it anyway.
Yeah. Pulling it down.
Pulling it down. It was me that slapped him until we came away.
Yeah.
For a man, the name of Judge Wiley, that lived above him in Dublin. He was the head judge of the land commission. And they went up to a place called Fort Hill.
Oh, the deer from there.
Deer from there.
What did he catch them with? Ropes, was it?
No, wired a trap. A runway along the wall and the trees.
Oh, yeah. And
And then he cage.
it did in, but he couldn't come out.
Made a cage and tightened it in the winter. Couldn't get out. We got out first. So we caged them again and put this wire inside and 3 wire and trapped it. And we got them all to 1.
And he galloped over to the Bastard Island, did he?
He went over there. I shot him even afterwards.
Did he?
And and they cost £2 a piece, and there was just about 10 or 12 of them.
Yeah. What did you used to shoot him? A shotgun, was it?
What's the gun, you know? Oh, that ain't the shot. Run that shot.
No, but Archbishop McHale, the controversial Archbishop of Tuam, right, born in 1791 and died 1881, You heard that he was educated down here, John?
I heard everyone was often told by Mick McHale that he was educated down in their place in Fohol.
Yeah.
By his grandmother.
Yeah. What was her name?
I cannot tell you now.
Yeah.
She must be Mrs. McHale too,
Yeah.
but I cannot tell you what was her maiden name, you know.
Yeah.
And that after his ordination or him becoming a clergyman that he had every Christmas he was to send her money. And up to £10 at the latter end every Christmas.
Yeah. Well, he was supposed to be educated down there in some head school, was he?
I don't know, was it a head school? No, there was no national school show that time.
There wasn't. There wasn't. It was 1838 after that.
What, yes, it was 1771 he was born.
1791.
1791. Went to school in about 1810 anyway, or
Yeah,
18.
he would be, yeah.
There was no school that time.
There wasn't.
One to Palmer that built the school above, but the first school that was built round here.
That's Carmore, isn't it?
No, but Tilbury.
Was it?
I often heard that.
Yeah.
So Palmer built it.
Cathedral, he had something to do with, he was, you know, Bishop of Killala, wasn't he?
Wasn't he Bishop of Killala first, I think?
He was.
Huh? And then he got to be Archbishop.
Yeah, and he built the cathedral,
The
didn't he?
cathedral, you heard in Ballina sometime about, that was, so it's completed anyway sometime about 31.
Yeah,
1831.
1831, yeah. So he had connections with this priest down here.
With this priest?
Father John, or Bishop John McVeigh.
I believe he had. He always relations was round here.
Yeah.
Huh? Which was supposed to, I'm told anyway.
Yeah.
That he was the same line of Michael's as the Michael's of Owen and Lacken.
Yeah.
And
The Michael's of Fohol.
Michael's of Kilkennas
Yeah.
and the Michael's of Lacken, or at Lacken or Lacken down there, they were all the same Michael's, I'm told.
Was it?
Aye.
Yeah.
And Paddy Michael, do you know who you get that information from?
Mr. Drone.
Paddy Michael was the Rowan.
Yeah.
That's the boy that you would all to you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Huh?
Yeah. About the school up here, Temple Mary.
Oh yeah, it was the Palmers that built that for.
Yeah.
I don't know how true that is now.
Would that be the Palmers over there in Summerhill?
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know whether it's true or not.
Yeah. That must be right.
He told the courts. And they used to bring them down and hang them below in Gallisfield.
Yeah.